If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. The sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Hey everyone, time for Deep Dive, where we deep dive into geocaching topics. Each episode features in-depth discussions and aims to provide a deeper understanding and appreciation of geocaching and to inspire listeners to explore new aspects of our great sport. And with me tonight is my co-host for the night, Lanisa.
Hello.
Chronically tired mom. Are you chronically tired tonight?
I took a nap this afternoon. I'm faring well.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Jesse's not available, and we didn't want him tonight anyway, because this will be better with the two of us, because we're going to deep dive into a very, very interesting topic, and one that Lanisa said that we need to really talk about, and I think I agree. So we decided,
close to my heart. So
yes, so we decided this would be perfect for tonight. So, so what did I do? I didn't do my. Hang on. Let me fix my headline. Because although we are going to do a key tonight, we're going to do a clue to a key. So that's coming up too. We will get to that here in a moment. First, we're going to, since we're talking about mental health, I think it only appropriate that we throw out a disclaimer like I did with when I had the other podcast for a little bit. So I'm going to read a disclaimer for this podcast, for tonight's podcast, for this episode. So here you go. Here's the exciting medical disclaimer. Everybody be excited about this. The content of this episode is not intended to substitute for professional health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult your health professional for personalized medical advice. Always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions regarding a medical condition. Never disregard or delay seeking professional medical advice or treatment because of something you have heard tonight or on any podcast. There you go. There's my medical disclaimer.
Yeah, we're not professionals.
No, but we play some on TV. So, eat pizza, be well. Yeah, I like that.
But it's not Friday night. We do it on Friday nights.
Do you? Okay.
Yes.
Which is fine that Pizza Ninja he can hashtag pretty much anything, with family friendly, but since he's not eligible, he can hashtag whatever he wants. So, yes, you're right, Nicole. We are going to do a clue perhaps here in a few minutes. Before that, though, we're going to dive in. One of the things that is interesting, we always ask ChatGC what we usually throw the deep dive question over to good old ChatGC. Well, ChatGC spit out a long and lengthy, so instead of me reading it, we're going to kind of refer to it periodically in the notes. But I did ask, how does geocaching help with mental health? And it gave us, and it'll be in the show notes. It'll be up later tonight. But it gave 11 different areas. And then we have obviously we have all of ours too. So as we go through them, we'll be able to cover them, I think. So, yes, tonight's hashtag for tonight's giveaways is be well. Hashtag be well. Make sure it's all put together in one word, like Tony did and like Jim did. And we're going to be giving away an item. So I still have the set of the coins. You don't have to do what I did. I put mine together because I thought that was a cool idea. But it's an actual set separated. There won't be this one. This is mine. But you'll get a night and a day of the Geocaching Memphis coins, which are really cool. So I really like them. So there's day and there's night. So I guess you flip it over. So night's the top one right now. That pair is available, and I have all the guitars available. So the black, I have the blue too. I just have one right in my hands, but then I have the oil dipped. In case you want one of those, you get one. The other one's a set. These you just get one of each. Or get one of the guitar coins if you would like that. I have some buffaloes still. I have the coppers are gone. I have the silver of that. I have a couple left of that's for another show. Glasses is another possible win. If you win, you get one of those. And with every winner, I will I'll send you, what do you know? One of these from Chronically Tired Mom.
Those are sharp looking, I have to say.
Well, they're good looking.
It's hard to focus.
No, it worked.
Yeah, there you go.
I have to ask you, how did you decide on this?
It's an inside joke between me and my brother-in-law.
Okay.
The little punch game, and so I don't know. I don't even know how I started doing that.
But it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's not. It's the okay sign, but it's an inside joke. Really, that's what it is.
Right. That's funny. You also could have done like your photo with you winking, because you always tend to you give a wink at the end of your
mentioned
episodes.
That, but I don't know if I want my face on a button. That's thinking a little too highly of myself. So
yeah, I hear you. No, it'd be okay with me. It is funny about that though, is when I was on way back when, for brief time, the podcast Cache and Release, that didn't last. It lasted about 24 episodes, I think was the total. But we had thought about doing a path tag, and we were going to use we had comics made, like nowadays it's no big deal. Back then it was kind of a bigger deal because it was not really used a lot, and it was kind of cool that we had these made. And I thought, we'll put them on a path tag. So I sent it off for proof, to have it proofed by path tags, and it came back and it looked so bad. It was like, we are not putting this on a path tag. This does not look right at all.
Was it really detailed or something?
It was just the eyes were all wrong. And it really looked weird because somehow I guess they couldn't really translate the cartoon into the path tag somehow. And so, yeah, we decided, no, we're not doing that. So we went a different route. So, okay, let's get into a little bit of this discussion, and then what I'll do, Lenise, is in sometime in a little bit, we'll we'll stop for a moment and we'll do the clue for the key we're going to be showing tonight. So
sounds good.
So how, I guess let's start with some of yours, and then what I'll do is I'll sort of interject some ideas and get your opinion on some of the ones that came up on the list. But how has geocaching affected you in a positive way?
Okay. Now, the reason, I should start without getting too deep into it. The reason why this is so close to my heart is because I suffer from severe depression and anxiety, and I have for years.
Right.
Geocaching, it gives me something to look forward to, a purpose. Right. Yeah. I'm a kind of person that I need something to look forward to for life. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of truth for a lot of people.
Sure.
But I need something to look forward to and to plan something fun, or I just kind of get in a slump.
Sure.
Yeah. It's giving me a reason to get outside and explore, a reason to get off the couch, a reason to socialize. And that's the hardest part with mental illness is that part.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the social. Let's dive more into the social part here in a moment. But getting back to, like you said, your depression and how this has helped. There's something to look forward to. That's something that I think that's really important. I think for all of us, regardless of whether some of us are going through something like depression. Obviously important, like you said, for somebody who does go through depression. It is important, I think, or is good for everyone, for all of our need for good mental health, in that it's sometimes kind of, well, I'll ask you because you've been through this, but I think that sometimes it's hard to put your finger on why is it,
why do you suffer from something like this?
No, more what is it about the idea that it's healthy to need to look forward for something, if that makes sense? Why is it that?
No, that does. And I don't know. I've thought of the exact same question. I guess a sense of excitement,
Yeah.
something to work towards, to get you off the couch or out of bed every day and look forward to, other than, you got your family and your work. And I'm not shoving aside those. Those are very important.
Sure.
But with mental illness, that could just be, very mechanical, working through the motions just to get through the day.
Yeah.
And it gets very mundane and you can get burnt out.
Yeah.
And for me, geocaching, it doesn't even matter if I go for a while. I'm always looking and planning to get out and do it. And some days I have to make myself, even though I don't want to, I don't feel like I don't have the will to get out and do it. But to have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah. And the chat room is being super helpful tonight as well. Tony says something to get your opinion on it. He says, because I think it's something about hope. Future orientation is a sign of hope. And B&J Bish says,
I agree with that.
Anticipation leads to excitement, leads to the serotonin, release.
Yes. That hit of dopamine, that happiness drug.
Yeah. And then earlier, Bryce, our buddy from Podcast to Hope, time, Portal Prov. Portal Prov's been knocking out of the park lately. By the way, if you ever want to watch Portal Prov on YouTube, or you go see him in person in Chicago, if you can. But if not, obviously, if you don't live in Chicago, you can definitely catch Portal Prov on YouTube. But Bryce says geocaching gets me moving and exercising, which is super helpful for my mental health. I like that there's a goal involved that keeps me motivated.
Yeah.
So that's of course the intrinsic beauty, I think, of geocaching, is that there's a goal of it. I personally am someone who, even growing up, I would do sports because there's a goal in sports. I was not a person who was very excited about running around the block, or, you know what I mean? To me, there was no, or walking is great, but then again, I like purposeful, if I'm walking for a certain number of steps, that's, I guess, a goal.
Exercising with a purpose other than just burning calories,
right,
to make it fun.
Yeah. I've always been one that has never been into just doing it because, I'm not going to, I've been on, I'll get on the treadmill, but I don't really like it. I would.
Oh, it is so boring.
I know. Well, I'm like you. It's like, I want there to be a goal, a purpose for it.
And geocaching is that way with, with hiking.
Absolutely.
And also I know Craig Michelle does Muncie, and he walks a lot of miles doing that.
Right. Yes.
So it's just, so that is exercise for me. I don't dread it. It's getting off and having the will to get off the couch when you're having your bad days. And there's a lot more bad days than good days with mental illness. But once you get out there, you're fine. You're enjoying it, and you're like, why did I fight myself so long to get up and do this?
Right. No, that's good. Ravenclaw Tia says, I used to think when I was doing better mentally and emotionally that I did the things that I love more. Now I realize it's a form of self-care. Geocaching is part of my self-care routine. That's a really good way to put it.
It is. Excellent way to put it.
She's great. And I think that there's something, and I'll get your opinion on this, because I think I'm glad you're here for this to talk through. The very thing that would help us is something that we tend to, I wouldn't say shy away from, but I guess we don't really, like you said, you sit on the couch and you're not going to get, like, this is no good. I need to get up and do something. And then it's like, when you go do it, you're like, why was I just sitting there?
Yes, because it's work to get up and get going for people with, I'm speaking from my point of view, not for everybody. When I'm in that state, it is work to even think about and getting up and prepare. I have to mentally prepare myself to get up, and it's not being lazy.
Yeah.
Because it's just not it. It is so much work to mentally prepare yourself and get up and get going. But once you get going, it's that excitement's there. Right. I don't know why it's that way. I wish it wasn't, but yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like that it's better for you to do that, but then again, you end up not doing it enough. You know what I mean? It's one of those weird. So, so let's talk a little bit about the social items. And the hashtag tonight for the giveaway is Be Well, all one word. Hashtag Be Well. So thank you for doing that. One of the things that Jess and I talk about a lot, and I want to get your opinion and thoughts on, and that is going to megas or events. I mean, especially megas. And you and I talked the other day because one of your videos came out, and I commented on it. I always like to comment on your videos because I love them. But you were with Hailmeister and TTFN.
Oh, Okay, it was one of Jason's videos.
Was it one of
Yeah.
Jason's? I guess it was. But you were with him, and but it made me think about that we were going to talk about that, and that you were so happy.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
How I'm sorry, I thought you were finished.
No, go ahead. Just that
I
it
just
really
thought,
showed.
mhm,
It really came out in the video that you, and again, something we'll talk about too later is the fact that we all hide stuff where it, and this is why I guess you can speak to as well, but it
mhm.
appeared like you were having a good time.
I was having a blast. It was miserable, hot, and the
Yes.
mosquitoes were like the plague of Moses or something.
Right.
But I had a ball. It's just I don't know, it's what it does for me. I mean, you wouldn't know that struggle with depression and struggling to I don't even wanna talk to anybody a lot of times,
Right.
but it's something about,
Right.
now the days before that mega, oh, I was dreading it so bad because I had to get up and get going, and
Right.
it's hard to explain the pre stuff you have to go through
Right.
when you have a mental illness like that or any other ones.
Right.
But once out there, I had a ball. I didn't want to stop. And TTF Cashin, Tom, and Hailmeister, we had I laughed so much. We were acting so stupid the whole weekend
Right.
that I had a ball. Yeah,
Oh, it's so
yeah.
great. Yeah, there's something about it, and that Tony brings up a good point. He says mental health is just like physical health. It's something that you have to work on consistently. You
Mhm.
don't get six pack abs doing sit ups for one day. Same with mental
Right.
health. That's really good mental health. That's a good point, Tony. Uh, thank you so much for that, and thank you to all our chat room folks for helping tonight or commenting tonight. Um, I can see that. I mean, I prefer to cache with other people because I'm sort of a social butterfly. I don't know. I mean, we all need to have good mental health.
Mhm.
I think without thinking about it, sometimes I think that for me, I I really feed off of that. And so I guess in a sense it is healthy, mentally for me as well, even though, and for all of us, even though I don't really think about it,
Yeah.
as much. Um, but yeah, that's something that um, is so important. It's
Well,
sort of what.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry. I
Well, I
said,
was going to say real quick is that I'm maybe not, I was going to say I'm very strange in this way, but maybe others are like me, and that is I don't always I'm not always wanting to be, especially people think that if you're a podcaster, you're like always, it's like always bouncing off the wall and you're always being social and you're always doing this. Like, I don't
mhm,
always want to do that.
mhm.
There's, there's times where I will be somewhere and I just want to blend in. I don't want anybody to, but I think that's again, something that's, it's kind of like Tony saying he's an introvert. Um, as much as I like events, I typically cache alone. It gives me time to recharge.
Mhm.
So there is an aspect to that for me personally, in that I I can I'm sort of probably an extrovert, but many times extroverts will burn out socially, not mentally, but
Yeah.
socially, and so there are times when I'll want to be somewhere or go somewhere. I don't really cache by myself. I have before. I just don't. I see caching as a chance to do it with other people. It's more of a social thing. For me though, it's the opposite. They want to go caching by themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some people
Yeah.
do.
I'm kind of in between because I cache by
Mhm.
myself most of the time because I don't really have any
Yeah,
geocaching friends in my area.
right.
Um, but when I do get together at events, I've made some friends, geocaching friends finally since moving to
Yeah.
Wisconsin. Um, Jim Detloff, I met
Mhm.
him.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good when they contact you wanting to get together with you. I'm
Right.
like, "Are they friends finally?" But
That's
yeah,
good.
I'm kinda in between. I like caching alone, like Tony said, to recharge, and I use that time to reflect and do do a lot of thinking and recharge, but I also want I crave that socialization with other people who are like-minded and wanna
Right.
geocache. I
Right.
think that's coming from a family who is a Muggle family, and I have to
Sure.
drag him
Yeah.
with me to go.
Right.
So I get excited when I meet new people and,
Right. Who want to go out and do that?
yeah, I wanna do the same thing and get excited about the same stupid things like I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like Emily's comment. Uh, sometimes there's between, but there's sometimes the difference between pre-show Emily and live show Emily is so drastic. She's an introverted extrovert. That's in many ways like I
Yeah.
am. And if anybody has ever met, Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, in real, like,
He's a little bit more toned down than in his videos. Yeah.
well, he can't. Yeah, and that's the thing. If people don't know how he is, they just see all they see is vlogger Josh.
Mhm.
But he's come town. He stayed at my house, and I've seen lots of Joshua off camera, and he's kind of like, Emily talks about it. There's a pre-show Josh, versus on camera
Yeah.
Josh. And so, yeah, Happy Hodex is it's difficult to imagine. He is, though. He can get very quiet. Um, I have he can get very introspective, and he can get very, I know it's hard to believe, but he can get kind of quiet. So it's uh people that you see on podcast or vloggers aren't always bouncing off walls the whole time. So
Well, usually you could ask my husband and
Mhm.
kids how I am on my videos is I am
Right.
most of the time here unless I'm having a bad day. But I I
That's good.
just
I mean, that's the bad
silly
part
and
of the
weird
day.
all the time.
Yeah. No, that part's
So,
the part I was mentioning was good.
yeah.
No. Um, so a couple things about geocaching that I want to cover, get your opinion on. We talked about encouraging physical activity.
Mhm.
Geocaching requires, this is some of the links from ChatGC, and we'll get your thoughts. It says geocaching requires physical activity as it involves walking or hiking outdoors to find caches. Yeah, thank you, ChatGC. Engaging in physical, and this is the comment I think is really cool. Engaging in physical activity releases endorphins in the brain, which can improve mood and reduce stress.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think we think of that all the time.
No. It's almost like I call it my addiction, but
Right.
it's a healthy
Healthy.
addiction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I get that healthy
Exactly.
fix of dopamine when I go out caching.
Right.
So,
No, that's good. Yeah. Distract too. Multiple personalities. Same
hey,
personality, just a little different.
that's where I get all my good jokes is my other personalities.
That's
So,
right. No, that's a good one. Another one was promotes relaxation. I never thought about this one before. But it makes sense. Let me read
mhm.
it here. It says geocaching takes place in natural environments, and we'll talk about forest bathing here in a little bit. Clothed. Everybody take it easy now. Such as parks, forests, and beaches, which can have a calming effect on the mind. Spending time in nature can reduce anxiety, depression, and other negative emotions. And I
Mhm.
guess this is a good time to talk about, uh, let's see if I can get the right term. Shinrin Yoku. I know I butchered that badly, but it's a Japanese term. We refer to it as forest bathing.
I've never heard of forest bathing until
Till now.
yes, yes.
Forest bathing. Forest bathing is based on the Japanese practice Shinrin Yoku. Apologies to my Asian friends and listeners, which can be translated as taking in the medicine or atmosphere of the forest. While forest bathing began in Japan in the 1980s, it has recently grown more popular worldwide. Forest bathing is an English interpretation of that word I mentioned, and it is the idea that spending time in nature in an alert but relaxed manner has healing and rejuvenative benefits. Kind of interesting, right?
Yes. It's like kind of go. I didn't know I was forest bathing when I go out and by myself, and you're reflecting. I'm thinking, and I'm enjoying myself.
Right.
I didn't know I was forest bathing, but
But
it does make sense. Yes.
Yeah, it's a weird term. I know I talked about there's a shameless plug for my hide and seek book. There I am. Look, I found one. Look where I found that one though.
You are definitely forest bathing there.
I don't know. I was just sort of hot and sweaty in the brush. But I did talk about that in here. But yeah, it's something to go look up. I learned the term, I think from, here we are. Boost mental health. I even put that was in the book. That's wild. And I wrote that a long time ago. Boost mental health. So anyway, so there's something that we benefit from nature.
Well, recharge. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's just I love the woods. Even where I geocached, my other hobby was birding.
Right.
I'd spent hours in the woods being extremely quiet looking for birds. And geocaching and birding go hand in hand, but being out in the woods, it just recharges your mental batteries. Yeah. And it's it does a reset, at least for that day. And I come home like I did the other day. I was out in the woods with my little boy. It's not quite as relaxing when you have a little boy who's bouncing around, but still it's fun. And it helped. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But I come home happier and ready to face my everyday challenges or tasks because I've reset myself.
Yeah. I would encourage folks to go do a little more reading about forest bathing. Something that is lacking for a lot of kids, unfortunately, who live in urban locations where they don't get out into nature. Even in places where they may not have as much, like if you're like, say, New York City, you can get out in Central Park. I mean, there's ways to get, or there's not always ways, but hopefully if you look for ways, you can find opportunities to get out into nature. It's something that we really need. Kind of, it's sort of built into human beings. I think that we need to be able to get out into something that's not right about the things that we're tending to be surrounded by concrete, and it just is better if we can spend a little time away from all that.
Right, because everything around you is man-made and noisy and distracting, and you get out in the middle of the woods.
Hey, one of your buddies is here.
Hey,
good old Jason.
Yeah,
I like and thanks. Quincy Cryptive says that this show is a respite from the crazy work.
I agree with that. I look forward to every Thursday.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm so glad you're usually with us in the chat room, but You're usually on over here. I
Yes.
can't. It's hard to point to on the camera. So I needed to. I was going to find it, but I'll just kind of have to paraphrase. But we back when we first started the Geocache Talk, almost 7 years ago now. We're coming to our seventh anniversaries this June. I got an email from someone who sent a really sweet email to us saying that this show really had a deep impact on them. Not this one, but just Geocache Talk podcast. And it was so great to get that email. We do the show, for everyone, and we love doing it. And you never know what kind of impact you're having. I talk about, we typically know, not always, but we know a lot of people that are in the chat room, which is wonderful. We love the chat room, but so many of them we actually know. So it's kind of like a big happy family thing, but it's really great to get an email from someone who lives somewhere else in the world, and they comment on how even a show like this helps them, even though we're not, it's not geocaching, but we're talking about geocaching. And so I think maybe there's something to this idea that, and I do this too. I'll watch YouTube videos on whatever I happen to be obsessed with of late. Lately, I've been obsessed with coffee, so I'm watching all these coffee episodes of coffee podcasts, not podcasts, but coffee YouTube stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever I happen to be into at the time. But I think that it's important, like you said, from a mental perspective. And Joanne mentions the human connections. There's something so important to that, and there's something that we really get with this kind of communication, obviously for us, and others hopefully make a connection with us. We encourage you to email us if you have things that you'd like to discuss, or give us information to provide to others. If you have ideas, we always talk about, send us your ideas and we'll cover those as well. Yeah, so many great comments tonight. I love Tricia mentioning that talking about mental health is a positive. Yes, obviously. Thank you so much for mentioning that.
People suffer. There's more people that suffer from it than you realize, because I used to be embarrassed about it. Time. I mean, I still don't talk about it much unless I have a reason to. I don't go around saying I have mental health issues. There's got to be a reason for me to bring it up, and it's usually to relate with somebody else who is suffering too. But talking about it, yes. So it's not so much of a taboo that it's so many people suffer from it.
Right. Couple more things I kind of cut out. I may have to go get my am I cutting out on your end? Am I okay?
No.
Okay. You were breaking up a little bit too, but that's okay.
I was.
You were, but that could be me. I was usually it's mine. Okay. So a couple more. So let's take a second before we go on any further. Let's do the clue for tonight. Let's do that real quick, and then we'll get back into the show. So let's do this.
I just love that music.
I know, isn't it cool? It's got that weird. It sounds like a giant door being closed at the end there. I love that. This will be up later. Pizza Ninja will get this up on the website, or actually on Facebook. So check that out, what I'm about to share, and it'll be out there again for people to look at for the vault, for the keys to the vault, where if you bring your key to Cache Fest in Memphis, you can put it in the vault and you can turn the key and hopefully it'll open for you and you'll get a plethora of prizes. If it doesn't open, fear not, you still win a prize of some kind. But you never know. There's only a few, so your odds are pretty good. And must be present to win. So you never know. There might be keys found that don't make it there. So anyway, here is your clue for tonight. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Never mind. No, I'm kidding. I'll show it a little bit longer if people want to try to hover and capture that. So there you go. That is the clue for tonight. There you go. And again, it'll be up on the website later tonight. So geocaching, my key doesn't work. Do I get a new key to try? Sure, bring multiple keys. We're not going to give you an extra key, but if you yeah. So
I hope you all tried every key over and over again to make sure they all opened.
Yeah, that's on Chad.
Bummer.
Something that Charles mentioned was that he took the keys that he got to hide and he checked every one of them because he's like, oh, I wonder who has, because none of us know who has the actual key that works.
Okay.
We told Chad, don't tell us because I don't want to be influenced by, I want to hide them all like they're the right one. I don't want to hide one really, hard and the rest of them easy. Because we didn't want to be influenced by it. But Charles took every one of the keys he got and he checked them all because I'm sure they're all the same. They're all blanks or whatever. He goes, no, Chad went through and keyed every one of these. So you can't tell which one's which one actually has the right combination, key on there. So, and we're not gonna let you try to pick the lock. None of that. One of the keys works. I know that. So there you go. Okay, so got some more here to ask you about. So we talked about physical activity promotes relaxation, promotes a sense of accomplishment, build social connections. We talked about those. This is sort of interesting. I don't know. We didn't really talk about, but is one of the aspects of it. And I'm sure you've thought of this, but stimulates the brain. Geocaching involves problem solving and critical thinking skills, which can help to keep the brain active and improve cognitive function. So there's something to be said about this idea of not only is it a sport that we all love, but it's not a mindless sport. Does that make sense? I mean, it's something you have to really think through. So it sort of helps us not only it helps us mental health in a lot of different ways. And one of them is obviously that we have to put aside the world to an extent, and we've got to focus. And so there's something really healthy about that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
It does help me focus. I know when you suffer from a mental illness or just struggle with mental health, you can become detached from everything and everyone. And that's no place to be. And geocaching helps get you focused and going. And like you said, exercises the brain. When you suffer from depression, a lot of times you don't have a will to do anything. I
Right.
mean, anything out of, doing everyday chores or just to keep
Right.
yourself going.
Right.
So this gives you purpose,
Yeah.
to keep going, refocused and recharged. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really gets you because it's not just something that's mindless. Because the fact that you have to focus and you have to, the whole, I mean, most of the time you're going to
Yeah.
try to find a cache that's not easy to find. Therefore,
Mhm.
it causes you to have to spend some definite mental effort.
And then you got the
Find it.
puzzles ahead of time that you have to solve,
Right.
exercises the brain.
Yes. And like you said, it gets you out of it gets
Your
you out of
bubble.
yeah, it gets you out of your bubble, but also gets you
Mhm.
out of your own head for a while.
Exactly.
And it gets you thinking about, you know, it narrows your focus away from what you're going through and things that you're going on in your life, and gets you to sort of squarely focus on a very specific task.
Mhm.
We got to, where is this cache? Where is it located? And there's something that is hard, and I've tried. I wrote a whole book on it. I mean, is to try to explain to others why geocaching is great. It's such a great sport. I know that we can kind of go through the mechanics of it, but I don't know if I've ever been able to put my finger on the full reason why it's so great. And it's hard if people don't, it's hard to explain to people. And I think we've talked about, you mentioned, your family, they'll cache with you, but they don't, it's hard. And I've been around people who they'll go caching if they're with me or whatever, but it's there's something hard to pinpoint as to why it's so great. Does
Mm.
that make sense? It's
Yes,
hard to
because
explain.
I I have it just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I don't have a specific answer for that other than it gives me a sense of accomplishment. And
Yeah.
when I do find a cache or work
Hmm.
on solve a puzzle or just getting out of the house and doing it,
Right.
it gives you a sense of self-worth,
Yeah.
outside of home, outside of your work, outside of your family. Okay, family's most important, but this is just kind of a bonus, you know.
Yes.
Uh, yeah.
There's the thrill of the hunt we understand it. Everyone
Hmm.
who's watching, for the most part, who's ever geocached, understands the thrill of the hunt. And I don't think we necessarily all we all do, but I don't think everybody else in that the people that are, the whole muggle thing
Hmm.
understands or really captures. And again, maybe it's not that there's not everybody in the world thinks and sees this like we do, but there's something magical that I can't put my finger on as to when you find a cache. It's magic. I know it's not,
Hmm.
but in my mind, it's there's that spark,
Right.
that moment when you find a cache. You're like, oh, the
The heavens open
clouds
up and
part.
everybody's
Yes,
angels are singing hallelujah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The clouds part, the sun comes out and shines down on that cache. Yes. Lanisa sings, and it all happens. But I mean, there's something, like you said, there's sort of an endorphin rush that we get from, again, healthy,
Yes.
it's this healthy addiction to that, the fact that, oh yes, found it.
And then
You know,
you're looking for your next fix, your next
yeah,
catch.
you
need that next hit. That's probably not a good way to describe it, but
no, probably it's not good, Lisa, to talk about like that. That's not good. You're gonna get us all in trouble. We do, and we're kind of goofy, our group, when we I don't know if you do this with when we cache with others, but we'll do the whole I don't know where it came from. We have to look it up, but we do the whole hucklebuckle thing where, and the ones that are really good at this, they'll spot the cache. If we're in a group, our little motley caching crew, they'll walk away and then they'll go, gentlemen, hucklebuckle. You're like, oh my gosh, he sees it. Where is it? So now we're all like, and the last person that sees it has to be the one that has to grab it, stick their hands in there and try to get it and sign it and all that kind of stuff. So you're kind of on, there's, the clock's ticking because you got to find it before your other people find it. Otherwise, you're the one that has to get the pen out and do all. I mean, that's not a big deal, but still. But there's just something magical about the fact that I see it and they don't see it. Now, our group are very devious in the fact that, and we've had to limit the times that you can do what I'm about to tell you. And that is, the real trick is to grab the cache without anybody else seeing you and have them continue to search, but yet walk away, hold it up, and take a photo of the cache with them behind you.
That is
that.
Yes,
I will show you a photo of the this very thing.
bad.
I know, isn't it bad of us to do?
All
right, here's one recently. I took a photo. So they're searching for this cache that is behind him. I like when he's talking to so that's Don and Jason's holding the
I would feel so stupid still looking for that cache and they got it in their hand.
Yes. Now this happened last night with my adorable grandson, but this isn't really like it used to be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're adorable and all, but these eggs are not hidden. Okay. No. These are not hidden eggs. They're just thrown out in a field. That's not hunting. That's not the kind of hunting we did as kids, right?
No, because sometimes my parents would hide them so hard that we'd find one later on in the summer, So that was really well.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't good.
Well, of course, when you got this many kids, you can't really.
Yeah.
But still, I always think of geocaching as, as hunting Easter eggs. But, because there's a thrill to hunt. I mean, not that kind of thrill, because you're just gathering them from a field. But, remember the days, of course, for many of us, it was a long time ago, but when you found an Easter egg, you're like, I found it. And like you said, there's the fix. You want to find another, but for that moment, you found it. It was hidden and you found it, there's something magical. So yeah, Streck's right. It's funny the first time, but it does get annoying. We gotta limit the amount of times we do that. Yeah, see, Charles did that to us. He did the tank hide
Oh,
for the
those are
win.
not my favorite.
No, and he caught us. At least he caught me. I know. Still searching, and he was holding it in his hand. So sneaky. Okay, a couple more before we wrap up tonight. We do our giveaway, which would be hashtag Be Well if you want to be entered in to win. Do you like Brad? And put in hashtag Be Well, all one word, and we will do a drawing here in a little bit. All right. So a couple more that they mention, get your thoughts on boosting self-esteem. Finding a geocache can provide a sense of accomplishment and boost self-esteem. It can also help build confidence in problem solving and navigation skills, which can translate to other areas of life. So, thoughts on boosting self-esteem?
I agree with that. I mean, it gives me a sense of accomplishment and that it's fine. I find that I'm good at it. I mean, it's not like I find every cache, but
Sure.
it's something. Does that make sense? I'm not bragging because I always say I'm the worst geocacher, but it's something I find my niche.
Yeah.
You know? And then when you're with other people and you build those relationships, it also builds your self-esteem because these people want to be with, they want to hang out with you too.
Sure.
Just and that builds self-esteem by building relationships with
Sure.
people who are like-minded in this sport or hobby. So if that makes any sense, but
Yeah.
building your social life builds self-esteem, makes you feel worthwhile instead of worthless.
Yes. No, very true. I like that. Yeah. Um, let's see some others that were mentioned. Improve boosting self encouraging a sense of adventure. Geocaching can provide a sense of adventure and excitement, which can help if I can speak tonight, it would be really wonderful, ladies, if I could. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Geocaching can provide a sense of adventure and excitement, which can help break up monotony and routine in daily life. We talked about that. It can also provide a sense of exploration and discovery, which can be invigorating. So there's something to be said for in this idea of adventure is something I tend to have kind of latched onto when I'll sign a book. I'll put adventure awaits, and to me I think that really captures geocaching. There is a sense of adventure that's out there,
Mm-hmm.
and there's something that's intrinsic to geocaching that, again, it's sometimes kind of hard to put your finger on, but there's something about that idea that exploration,
Mm-hmm.
we're we're not finding the South Pole or anything, but yet there's something about just finding a geocache is it's got that little microcosm of discovery,
Yeah.
of wonderment that we've all experienced, I think.
And each geocache hunt
Mhm.
can be
Right.
so different from the last. You just never know what it entails.
Yeah.
It's like Bilbo Baggins. I'm going on an adventure. I mean, I
Yes.
feel that way every time. I mean,
Yes. Going on an
oh, look, I
adventure.
didn't even read that comment in the chat room.
Oh,
That's
didn't you really?
funny.
It was.
No.
I thought you were
No,
reading
I
what he
didn't.
wrote. Yeah.
Oh, everything for me is Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. But I love
I
that.
hear you.
We're like-minded, like Quincy.
Yes, very like-minded. Yeah, I like Bill on the Moves comment. It's fun, but I'm not good at it. You don't have to be good at it. You have to be good at it to a point, because if you don't find
Yeah.
anything, although Jess and I, we've talked about one of the ones that he and I did not find is one of our treasured moments was
Mm-hmm.
was not finding a cache. Now, it was a crazy cache on an abandoned railroad line on a trestle that had multiple beams missing. So there was a sense of terror, sheer terror of falling and breaking a leg or falling into the water below.
Mm.
So I don't know. Maybe there's some. That's not really the endorphin we're looking for, is to do that. But yeah, but just the fun of it was, and we of course never found it, but it was crazy. So let's see. I think we've covered it. Mindfulness was another one. We kind of talked about that with geocaching requires paying attention to the environment, searching. Of course, that was one that we had to pay attention to the environment, which was part of the bridge wasn't there, and we're searching on this crazy bridge. Searching for clues, being present in the moment. This can promote mindfulness and reduce anxiety. I never thought about that. Reduces anxiety. That's a good point. So what is it about, or why do you think that why is that? Why do you think that
it reduces anxiety?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, urban caching, as opposed to being out in nature.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of being out in nature. That's usually what the ones I go for.
Right.
It's being away from the stresses, from noise, from people. And it just gives you a chance to, take a breath. I mean,
yeah.
It improves your mood being out. For me, out in nature and geocache,
Right.
and I'm out in nature and I'm geocaching. How can it get any better? Yeah. It's just it's so quiet, and the Lord intended it to be that way. I know that's why it's that way.
Get away.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I love camping so much. It's just
Well, and you mentioned your other, the other sport of birding that I enjoy as well. Not to the extent that you've done it, but you can't do that if you're not A, paying attention, or B, away from computers and TV and everything else. You can't hear a bird if you're not where you can.
You have to be quiet. You have to focus. You have to pay attention to every little sound, and birding and geocaching. Here's a plug for birding.
Yeah,
it is just so awesome. It is so awesome. And that's probably for another show, but geocaching, other hobbies.
That's for another show. Yeah, we almost did that. But I think we definitely need to do a show on. That's a good one. We'll do geocaching, and where you can combine things together.
Yes.
Because you and I have talked about. I mentioned to you one of my favorite movies that's very underrated is The Big Year.
Yes, me and my daughter both are birders. I was excited when you mentioned that movie to me because I've owned a copy of it since it came out. I did too. Steve Martin.
Yeah. Steve Martin, Jack Black. I mean, there's no, not Jack
Black. Big Year. So if anybody's not seen that, that's a good movie. Watch it.
Steve Martin,
Jack Black, Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Owen Wilson. That's the other one too. Yeah, Jack Black and Owen Wilson. Yeah. So there's, and it's like I said, it's underrated because there's so much. I love that movie. There's so much packed into it, and it's very. It's not a flashy kind of movie, but there's such great story within that movie. But
there it is.
Anyway, enough of that. But yeah, I love that movie. Okay. Let's see. I think we're about to do our giveaway, but let's see. We've kind of made a slight dent in this.
Okay, go. Yes, just a dent, not even a scratch.
No, there's so much to it. But I'm glad that you wanted to talk about it, and it's something that, it is something that is close to your heart. And I'm glad that it's helped so many people. You know, it makes my heart glad to know that that the sport that I love helps so many other people as well.
Mhm. It's
You
more
know,
than geocaching. It's more than that. It's more than
yeah,
just a sport or a hobby for me.
no, that's great. And I hopefully everyone here who's here tonight is proud of the fact that it's true, that it has helped so many people.
Mhm.
It's sort of one of those things where it's on my list of things that we all, I guess, obviously we love to talk about. I mean, do it every week for podcasting, but away from all that though, I still talk to people about it because I think that it's important when you're proud of something like that, you're able to then tell others, and it's something that it's something that I take pride in, that we're part of something that's really been really good. A lot of great comments tonight. Thank you so much. Tony wants to thank you for being so
Oh,
open.
you're welcome.
We appreciate that. Hailmeister, never know what you're going to find when you go geocaching. That's very true.
It is.
Yeah, save people from the pandemic funk. That's very true. Happiness unlocked. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And as again, we're gonna bring up the giveaway, and once we do the giveaway, we'll wrap up tonight. But I want to give you a chance to give your final thoughts, but and I want you to go last. My final thought before we do the giveaway is that something that we all need to be more aware of, and I'm going to try to be more aware of it, even more than I already am, and that is, we don't know what's going on in other people's lives for the
Mhm.
most part. We all see people through the mask that we put forward, and most people put forward to us. Whether that's good or bad, people aren't going to share their whole life with you. But something we can do, though, is keep and be aware of that people may be hurting, and people may be
Mhm.
going through a lot in their life, and they may not feel comfortable sharing that kind of information with others.
Mhm.
But as much as we can, we need to try and help others, even if it's something that, how to put it, you don't know what everybody's going through. So in that sense, you need to be kind, be be mindful of what you say to others, um, and just be a gentle person. And
Mhm.
like Tony says, kindness and grace can go a long way.
Right.
So that's very true. So I'm going to bring it all up, but while I'm doing that, you go ahead and give us some of your final thoughts, if you
You
would.
mentioned, you know, you don't know what's going on with somebody, and I had a friend of mine say that exact same thing. So you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Just
Yeah.
be mindful of that fact and treat others how you would want to be treated. Maybe
Mhm.
they don't want to share what's going on, but just say, hey, I'm here if you need me. Just know I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like, was it Tony said kindness and grace go a long way? Grace, yes.
Yeah.
Whether that person deserves it or not, grace is unmerited favor. So
Yes.
God shows us grace. We should show grace to everybody.
Absolutely.
So
Yep. All right. Very good. Thank you so much. Let's give away a prize tonight. So I'm going to bring up last chance. Put in your hashtag be well, And in 3, 2, 1, and here I'm going to push the button, and here we go on the giveaway. Who's going to win tonight? There it goes. There's everybody's names are going through. It's spinning.
Tony Golden.
Tony.
All right.
Golden is the winner. Whoa. Where'd it
Winner,
there
chicken
goes.
dinner.
There it is.
Yeah.
There you go, Tony. Winner. Send us, email us, and let us know what prize you would like. Send it to, we'll bring it up. I click on it. Here it goes. geocachetalk@gmail.com. Congrats, and let me know what you would like for me to send you. Go ahead.
Tony said he was a winner already. Did he already win, or is he joking?
He might have. We're gonna let people do a couple wins, and then we'll cut them off after that. So you're okay, Tony. I'm keeping track of.
We're showing him grace.
Yeah. He wants me to spin again.
No.
I can. Let me know, Tony, because it's okay if you want to. I know you've won before. Again, we're gonna let people win a few times before we.
The first drawing, he said.
Yeah, he won the first time. Yeah,
I don't remember that far back.
Yeah. So, okay. So I will. I'll spin. I can swing. I'll spin again. But Tony, I give you. I can send you. Okay, so I'll send you. Yeah. All right. Cool. So we are going to wrap up tonight, and we're going to have Gadget Talk is on this weekend. They're going to talk about how to building a cache drawer, so that should be interesting. I never thought about some of those things, but those guys always think of the cool stuff for the gadgets. So there you go. That'll be interesting. And we will see you next Thursday for another episode of Deep Dive. And again, thank you, Lenise, for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun. Yep. Good times.
And I didn't break down either.
You did fine. Yeah. You're good. But it was a great topic. I'm so glad you brought it up. And as we were discussing what we should do, and it was a fun one to talk about, or fun and important. I think it was
important. Yeah,
it is very important. So, all right. And we'll see y'all next time. So
good night.
Good night, everybody.